Good evening. Welcome back to United TV. We're going to be doing another Manchester United call-in. A bit of news today was Ederson agreeing in terms of Manchester United. That might be something we see being discussed, and maybe we're going to see something moving on that relatively soon. I'm joined by G Wolf. We will be getting guests on to come on and have their say regarding anything Manchester United. It can be about Ederson. It can be about any signing, about yesterday's game, about Michael Carrick, about anything at all you want to talk about. So it should be a good, fun stream, I think. Yesterday was really successful. Lots of people coming on, so don't worry about whatever you want to talk about. It's up to you guys. It's completely free to decide. Also, massive shout out to Belal for the super chat as well. Big up to you, Belal. We'll be getting Belal on actually very soon as well to discuss anything he wants to talk about. How are you feeling, G Wolf? Like,
All
lots to
good,
talk about,
bro.
do you think?
Truth about yesterday's game, how boring it was. I think people need to talk about that. Um, I think transfers as well. People need to talk about that, about the signings that we get, about the signings that we're linked with. What do you guys think? I think those sort of I think those sorts that we need at the moment. Definitely about
Yes,
yesterday's game.
exactly. I think there were some strong opinions yesterday as well, particularly from like Jeff, the referee that joined as well. He was really angry about some of the decisions. And he's a professional referee, so he was looking at that. I don't want to talk about VAR and Arsenal's game today because, again, that's almost like so much rubbish to talk about in football. But also, as Bilal said, big up to Bilal. Please smash the likes, people. Please share the stream if you can, and we'll try and get lots of people involved to discuss things today. But I posted a link in the chat. I will post it again and maybe pin it so people can come on. But we're going to bring on Bilal and welcome again to the stream, Bilal. Hope you're having a good day. I mean, Man
Hello.
United just yesterday, but how are you feeling today, and what do you want to talk about?
I'm better than I was yesterday this time. That was very frustrated at this time yesterday with that draw. We didn't turn off at all.
Nope, we didn't. What
No,
do
I
you
think
think was the main factor? Do you think it was the fringe players or
I just think the players put their foot off the gas. They've qualified for the Champions League. They don't want to risk anything for the World Cup. But
you
I
could be
just
right.
wanted to show up and
I know. Do you get the
show
feeling that now, as
desire.
soon as that happens, people start looking, all right, who are we going to sign? Because clearly, like midfield needs fixing, and there's a lot of issues in the squad.
Sorry?
What do you feel about? So today, the big links at Ederson. Are you?
Um,
How do
I'm
you feel
not
about
really
that?
happy. I'm not happy with this player. I don't think he's that good. I'm just I'm skeptical about Serie A players. To be fair, I don't think they're strong enough for the Premier League. We've had like Rasmus and Xerxes in recent years, not to mention Onana. They've just been disaster of signings, in my opinion. I think we should look at if we want any midfielders, we should be looking in the French league or some players from La Liga.
Yeah, that's a good point.
and you
That's a
think
good
that we
point.
need
There's a lot
Premier
of
League players?
Um, Not necessarily. There's plenty of good players out there. I just don't think the Italian league is where you should look.
who do you think we should be looking at, Bilal? Like we seem to be like the way the news has been discussed. It seems to be very much a focus on the Premier League
Uh,
as the main targets. But what do you think
I've
we
been
should be looking at?
saying this for a year now. I believe, and I've not changed my mind. I think he'll be a good player for us. I know he's not had a great season this season, but I think he'll come good again.
How do you feel about say some of the big names linked, like something like Too Many, Angela Stiller, because they're ones that they'll probably be the bigger
I'd love,
non Premier
I'd
League
love us
signings
to
that are
sign.
linked.
I'd love us to sign Chouameni, but I don't think we will. I think he'll sign a new contract. Even after all these things he's done, even after the fight, I think he'll still sign a new contract and stay there. But I'd love him
Yes.
here.
Yeah, Solly says he's done well the last few games. Belieber saying he's getting a bit back to form. I mean,
Yeah,
if
I thought he would. I always believed in him.
Too little, too late, though.
You think?
Should have been doing it from the start of the season. Well, wait until now to do it.
I
I
don't
think
think
United want him
Brighton
anyway.
have been that good this season. Brighton in general, they're not been too good.
Cody says about Ederson, he says the links worry him. We didn't feel this way last summer for forwards except, say, Sesko. Are you worried about Ederson, like, as a linked player?
Me?
Yeah, you said that
Yeah,
there's
I
like
don't
maybe a
want it.
bid going in, but you don't want him.
So I don't want it. I don't think it's good enough. To link with him 2 years ago, so we've given up. I don't know why we're going back.
You know, I read this morning that Man United were considering a move for Ederson in January, but they saw getting him in the summer as just being cheaper because his contract's running down a little bit. And I was just thinking, we kind of gambled a lot in January that we had enough to get Champions League football. We didn't help the manager at all, did we? And
I agree with United till I die here. He should not be one of the first options.
do you know what the
I'm
thing
not a
is?
fan, but yeah, it's okay.
So I was going to say this: like, what is your top option for midfield signing in the whole window? What's your top option?
Well, yeah, I don't think Anderson's going to come, but it's Anderson, Believer, and Tonali.
Do you think the problem is that the best signings are going to take a bit longer? Like too many, you've got the contract situation. Anderson, you've got interest from big clubs, and Ederson is like cheap. I'm not saying we should sign Ederson by any stretch, but if Man United have got Ederson as like their fourth or fifth choice target, are they just getting an easy deal done quickly? That's all I can think of. I'm not even sure we're definitely going to sign him. It's just at the moment, it's like terms agreed with a player doesn't mean we're going to sign him. It's just
No,
the first part, possibly.
yeah, we agreed terms of Believer last season. They didn't end up signing him. So yeah, that doesn't really mean anything. Not until you sign that dotted line.
Apparently, the set fee, the contract is still in place. So all we have to do is just agree on a price. Apparently, I've heard that. I've seen that story before. I don't know if you have, about his contract, that he's already got a pre-contract with Manchester United still.
All right, I hope they get it over the line then to the end of the season. If that's
And then
the
it's
case.
just about the price. And then it's just about the price. It's just about the price. Whether, like, you know, is he going to be over 100 million? I really hope not.
No, I hope not.
Who are you talking about now, G-Wolf?
Believer.
Believer.
No. He can't be like over a certain amount because there's so many targets. Like
They were
you'd have
saying
to look
this
at it
about
and say,
that Southampton player last season. How much did he go to Everton for? They said he's
no,
worth 100 million.
30 to 40. If a
Yeah.
player's quoted at 100 million, then half the
yeah.
time you can divide it by 2 a year later.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
go for that. Andy
When
says,
are you
believe
not
in
pissed?
big signing though.
Do you think he'd really be one of our biggest signings? I really hope not. As I said, I hope that we're going for Anderson rather than Ederson.
That's the first choice. Yeah.
Definitely, that's got to be our first. That's got to be the first choice signing.
Well, I just think he's going to City. I really hope I'm wrong, but I think he's going to City.
Yeah, but now we got Champions League football, we can offer him that as well. I think because of it was in the balance whether we was going to get it or not. But now we've actually secured it. I think he might think about it.
Yeah.
Think about coming to us rather than going to City.
I hope so.
Believer seems to divide opinion quite a lot at the moment. As I read a comment here saying Believer is very good, and saying that Gravenberch had a bad season. I think you agree with this, Belal, don't you? You're quite happy with Believer.
Yeah.
And United Guy says he said this a few times before, saying that he thinks Believer's a monster. If he gets fitness, regains his form, be a really good option as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Did you agree with that, G-Wolf? Like, there's definitely some like, I think there's some strong views. I'm just kind of think that it seems likely that Man United might make a bid for Believer. I have no idea how much it's going to cost. I'd be surprised if it costs I know it's going to be nowhere near 100. I'd be surprised if it's like as much as like
it can't be
60,
over 100
feels
like it was.
maybe that.
I like
last
him, but if it's
season.
100 million, I'm walking away.
Yeah, but he
Definitely.
because he had a really great season last season. Like he would have cost us. It was like there was talks of 120.
Yeah, there
for
was.
him last season. This season, yeah, okay, he hasn't done well, but because of what they know, what he can produce, is it still going to be over the 100 million mark? You know what I mean? It might not get up to 120,
No, I don't
but
think
it
will.
might
It'll be
take
nowhere near
20
100.
million off.
It
nowhere
can't
near
be
that.
100 million. It can't be. That would be just silly.
It will be, but
I think
you know what Brighton are like? They're tough businessmen.
Yeah, Man United, I think under Barada, I'd be surprised if Man United spend too much more than like 70 to 80 as a maximum on a signing. And then it would have to be someone they regard as exceptional. But Solly says we have to get Belieber. He says there'll be total regret if we don't. And we've got another couple of points as well. People Belieber should be first choice, says Matty. So this is one of these things where everybody's got differences of opinion. Matty says he's going to be one of the best in terms of obtainable options, but that's different. Who do you want then,
welcome
Belal?
Everyone's opinions. Everyone's
who do you want, Belal?
Like,
if you're picking like your first choice, because you're quite positive, aren't you?
First choice out of the three players I mentioned.
Just anyone. Like if you can pick one.
As I said, I don't think Anderson's coming, but I would have gone for him. He would have been my first choice. But now, I actually want Believer as the first choice. Just not for 100 million, though. If it's 100 million, I'm walking away.
We're not sending G-Wolf to negotiate. We're going to send people that are going to be more mindful of the cost. 100%.
Well, I tell you what, if it's nearer to the 100 million mark, then
how much did you pay for him, Belal? Just to like, give a ballpark of how much if we got Belieber as our first signing,
I would not go over 65 million. Between
65.
50 to 65. I would not go over 65.
I think that's close. Like 65, that must be close. That's like Mbuemo money, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I hope we don't take as long to sign it.
I'll go a little bit lower than that, mate. If I I wouldn't go anywhere over 50 million for him.
I said between 50 to 65. I mean, I would not go over 65.
I'd say between 40 and 50.
You're like G-Wolf, like you're nowhere. I think if you go with that, you might look at it. That's going to be the price of getting Ederson and Joe Gomez, and you're not going to get.
I think that would be like when you try and sign a player on FIFA. I think they'd decline it straight away. 40 million.
I think they just walk out and go, "Thank you. Why are you wasting our time?" Like,
exactly.
You know what? I'll do a career mode one, and I'll go for him and I'll put in a 40 million bid and see what it gets me.
Yeah, you can show us. Do it on your channel so we can see.
Belal, we're going to have to get the next person in.
Okay.
But thank you for joining, Belal.
Thank you for having me on.
Cheers, Belal.
No worries. Hopefully next time we speak, maybe something's actually happened and we can talk about.
I hope so too.
Maybe Carrot's got the job then. Who knows?
See you in a bit,
Belal.
We hope so.
Well, the next person, you never know. I think half the people want Carrick. A lot of people have other options as well.
Oh, it's got to be Carrick, surely. Come on, he deserves it.
Agile beast. Yeah, exactly. As I said, people that are coming on, you can talk about anything. If it's something in the news you want to talk about, that's absolutely fine. But you can set the idea of what we're going to discuss. So we're going to get Ian on and find out what Ian wants to talk about today. So welcome to the chat, Ian. How are you doing?
Good evening, Rich. Good evening, Wolf. Evening, all you chat legends. I just wanted to get something out there as we were discussing the Ederson point, and it's kind of in the news right now, that if that's the start of things to come in this transfer window, then there's dark times ahead. That's completely unjoined up thinking. It's an Amorim signing from a year ago that nobody really wanted then, and there is 10 possibly better options. I'll throw you guys quickly back to a scenario a year or 2 years ago when we were all screaming months later that we'd given PSG money to buy the player that we wanted and we got the B-Tech version. Let's not do it. Let's not do it again. Atletico have seen a better option in João Gomez, cheaper option, and decided they're going to go for that. Why are we not doing that? Ederson is an okay player. He's better than Agate, but again, half of our youth team are better than Agate. So that's not a standard we can measure a signing at. It's just not. So if we're going to do that again, it's a bad look. So I personally, just listening to what Belal was saying and he's saying about Belabor, I'm a fan. I wouldn't go much above 50 with maybe performance add-ons, maybe. But he's got to perform. We've got to stay in the Champions League. We've got to win the leagues if they want extra money. Otherwise, 50, no higher, because there are other options. If he's not the only option anymore. When it comes to Elliot Anderson, I do agree he's probably the top option. I'm not so sure it's 100% City. I think there was a lot of talk of it being City, but now we're in the Champions League. There's still a massive doubt whether Pep's even staying. No one knows what's happening about these charges. So I think we can play our role in that deal. But if it goes anywhere near 80, 100, 9, that million, no. There isn't a single midfielder available today that's worth any of that money. Because you spend 90 million, 100 million on him, you could get 2 or 3 others, all put together way better. We cannot afford mistakes this summer, like we couldn't afford them last year. And look at the decisions we made last year and how that has impacted our team this year. If we can make 4 ideal decisions again this season, we can have the same impact next season. Better. But if we go down the route of we'll take Ederson because he's cheap, then we're just repeating the mistakes of the past. It's deluded thinking. He doesn't even play that well with Ederson, with Kobe. If you put the two players together and you look at all their stats, Gomez and Casemiro and Kobe have all got higher stats than him. He's more of a progressor with the ball than a ball winner. And it just wouldn't suit us. But Labour would be a much better signing. Much better. They're talking 42 million euros, Rich, is it? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, let's go for a few of the comments. United Dice says, I'd say on the Ederson topic, good value for money if you can get the price down. It's a 1 year on
20 million.
Contract, paying £38 million. I suppose that, it depends on. Apparently, his contract was actually quite low. I don't know if that is true. There's rumours of him costing.
I think his wages are low, Rich, but his contract is a year left. It's just another Mason Mount situation. What are we paying for? Atletico Madrid were giving them pennies, and we're now paying more for honestly a lesser player than they're taking from the Premier League, who knows the league, knows our players, and is cheaper by over 10 million. What are we doing? I don't even think João Gomez is a perfect signing. But if we're batting in the ballpark of our second-rate signings, let's at least get a Premier League proven second-rate signing. Because Ederson's just not good enough.
Let's go for a couple of comments. Jill says the most important action this summer is to buy players who fit the roles the new look team requires, and so recruitment or lack of, which so under Amrin was below par, very damaging. Do you think the difficulty thing is the difficulty I've got with this is Ederson, right? We haven't signed him yet, but it's that we are in talks to see what the deal is. This might just be due diligence and actually working out how much deals are going to cost before making a decision. So it could be that we go, right, how much does Ederson cost? How much does Alex Scott cost, or Belabor cost, or these other options as well, Angela Stiller, and then make the best choice out of those. So it could be that. And if Man United do sign Ederson, I would probably be waiting. I probably want to see what the other signings are going to be before I can work out whether. If there's signings of the similar, like I get Ian, like you're saying, it would be underwhelming. How do you feel?
I don't think. Go on, Wolf. Sorry.
Get you what's opinion.
No, I was going to say, what 3 signings would you What 3 signings would you get?
What I mean is that if you get 3 signings and Ederson's the first one, it's going to be a bit
He's
different.
definitely
if
not.
if your first signing's too many and he walks through the door, suddenly you probably have a different view on your second and third, possibly.
Personally, for me, what Wolf said, what's my 3 signings? I'd like Walton, because I'd like Anderson, but I agree with Belal. I don't think it's realistic. Whether we go City or not, that price is stupid. It's not worth it. We can't afford to spend that on one player.
Even if
So
we've got
Walton,
300 million to spend.
I don't think we haven't got 300 million. Let's be realistic. That's nowhere near. We're nowhere near that. That's a dream if we sell everybody for good money and everything happens, which we all know it does not.
Standard price that we spend every
come in.
season is 200 million, plus we got an extra 100 million for Champions League.
If we go into our credit thing, and don't forget, you've got to allow all of that's going to come out for the debt as well. You're not gonna. It's not all for money. I reckon we've got at most 200, 250 at push, and that's extending our credit. But I would go Walton, I would go Fernandes, and I'd like to see us go for a player with some potential and ability from outside the league, like a Sangare or an Agume. But I would if we can get that kind of money, Walton, Fernandes, and Belal. And I'll be happy with that. Anything less, and we start thinking that Alex Scott's a great player, but on his own, he can't be the first like Ederson. 20 million for Ederson, I'd take a gamble. But you can't say, oh, look, this is our best signing and we're now going to get players around that. That's nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near it. So we've got to be hitting at the maximum level or not at all. If you don't make that grade, I'm sorry, I said before, we're not a charity. We've got to, Rich, you said it to Belal about, that's about the price with the level of signings within Mbeumo and Cunha from last year. And I think we can all agree the best signing from last year was Stanley Lemons. He took away all of our PTSD. And we finally got a goalkeeper since De Gea that we can actually call a goalkeeper. But we got to do that this year again. I would rather have the 3 players I said then than 4 lesser names. Or 4 of these flash names that don't work. Like, I love Tchouaméni as a footballer, but go on, sorry, Rich.
Which do you think are flash names that don't work? And what's your reasons for them not working?
Tchouaméni. Love him as a footballer. He's got an appalling injury record. Like, appalling. Take his attitude to one side, whatever's going on at Real Madrid. You are going to then say, we're going to have to pay £70 million for the only thing he's got over the 5 or 6 other footballers I've named already is Champions League experience. So we're going to bat 70 million of our budget on a player with a bad injury record because he's good in the Champions League. That's a risk we can't afford to take. I'm sorry.
You don't rate too many.
No, I rate him as a footballer. If he had an injury, if his injury record was, say, like Walton's got an injury record, but he's sorted out.
Yeah,
it's abysmal.
He plays a lot of games. You're saying he's injured, but he plays a lot of games.
Well, so if you look in the last 3 seasons, he's completed a full season once, has he? I don't think so.
If you look at too many, how many games do you reckon too many's played?
What, this season?
The
last couple of seasons. I bet he's not made 100 and just over 100 in a few seasons, or consistently. I bet he's not played 30 consistent games without an injury. Well, and they're consistently the same sort of injuries as well, which we all know is not good. It's a risk. We shouldn't take it.
Looking at the numbers, he played 58 games last season. He's played 46 games this season. That's quite a lot. I know that I might have missed some of injuries, but that's quite a lot of games he's playing.
Well, I just don't think. I think he's a fabulous footballer. He's just not what he's just. If we were looking for one footballer, Rich, one, and we had 3 other midfielders already, yes. And if it was 50 or less, because if he's really a big problem, and Real Madrid want out, then let's not pay them to get rid of their problems. We'll give you 30 million. don't want it, then he can stay there. That kind of money, I'll take a gamble. I just don't think 70 million for a player that might be injury prone, or I think is injury prone. So especially when you've got, go on, Wolf.
I was going to say, me personally, I would take the risk. Literally, Chouameni with his passing, he's an absolute fantastic player. And
you take for a few comments. Let me just get the chat involved. United Dice says, if you want a progressive passer, Anderson, you want a deep line playmaker, still a robust engine with some of the best duels and interceptions, you go for Chouameni. And I'll just go for some of the other comments as well.
I don't think you find he's got the best duels and interceptions out of the players we've been talking about. Chouameni, nowhere near it. So, you compare him with people like Sangare or Ibrahim Akone for Roma, or Gomez, or like try and compare him to Casemiro, and you think his stats are good. They're not. They're definitely not. He's a good footballer. He really is. I just honestly don't think he's worth the gamble. And if you think he's worth the gamble, that's fair enough. But you'll be sitting here in 6 months' time going, why did we spend that money when we could have got this and this and this? So,
would you take Tonali as a question we got?
No. Straight no. And I'll give you easy reasons. He doesn't work in our team, really. He's a similar player to Kobe. He's, out of all the players we linked with, he's probably one of the worst defensively as well. And as was proved yesterday, when you play next to Kobe, you've got to have your defensive head on. Tonali's terrible defensively. Good ball player, great progressor. If you've not got Kobe in the team, Tonali, yes. But if you're going to build a team around Kobe and say Tonali's not going to come in for that money and go, you can play every few weeks when we give Kobe a break. So you've got to have someone that comes in. If you're going to have someone that, for the biggest money, they're going to want to start the most games. We think they should start the most games. It's got to be a player that works with our two other midfielders, which is Kobe and Bruno.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? We don't know the overall plan, do we? We just look at the digital pieces and wonder which two they're going to choose. We're going to have to get the next caller in a second.
No, that's absolutely fine.
I just saw this comment and thought, Yoli, big up to you, Yoli, says, too many not for sale. He wants to restore Real Madrid's greatness. That makes me think of like Donald Trump. So he's going to, too many's going to make Madrid great again.
That club's an absolute joke, isn't it? It's a rolling joke.
Friends with the captain, though, isn't he? Before he gets back in that one.
Oh, he'd have to make sure Mbappe likes him, otherwise it won't matter.
There's a lot of drama at Madrid. Luckily, it's not.
4.5 million people don't want the star striker to play for them. What kind of drama is that?
Yeah,
I did see one of the comments from Mo. He said, "Watch out what you say, Ian, because he might come and find you and punch you."
I've heard too many takes no prisoners.
Ask where I am, mate. Too many. He might be like that, and don't get me wrong. Like I was saying, do I rate him as a footballer? Highly. Can you take the risk? That's what I'm saying to you. It's a risk. If it's less than 50 million, I'm prepared to take the risk. And like I said, Rich, if we've got two others already, if we've got Stiller and Belieber, or Fernandez and Belieber, and then he's the other one, yes. If he's the main one, no. If you're going to say him and you're going to get Ederson and, I don't know, someone else, average.
Just quickly before you go, Niche fan says, where's the risk? Right, where do you see the risk with too many?
I see he's injury prone. His attitude is obviously not great. Really, it isn't. Clearly, he could be a troublemaker. So it's like saying, would you sign Mbappe? Some people still would. Is he
causing the trouble, or do you think Valverde was causing the trouble?
Well, I don't know. Wasn't Chouameni classed as the one that started the first action the week before, and then the next week it's escalated again? I don't know. We don't know. It's all guesswork. I'm just going on. When I look at the player, I just see him being an injury risk. And also, has anyone worked out how much wages they think he's going to be wanting? Because I bet you he's on more than our highest earner.
He's on about 200k plus a bonus for Champions League, about 50. So he would be on more than the players we got. But to be honest, if we buy players from Wolves and Brentford and we buy a player from Real Madrid, they're going to be on a higher salary. So it'll be higher, but it's not crazy.
You don't forget, you have to take away the tax thing for there as well. No, that's fine.
But
take care, guys.
We will do some more calling shows as well.
That's all right.
Cheers, Ian. So we're going to bring in Tom now. So a lot of too many chat, but Tom, you're welcome to speak about whatever you want to talk about. Obviously, it's up to you. Welcome,
Hi,
Tom.
lads.
Good to see you, Tom. It's been a couple of weeks, but how are you doing?
Good, thanks, mate. Great to be on. Still high from the Liverpool result, but of course, a pre-season
Got to enjoy those
performance
ones.
yesterday.
So, what are you thinking then? What do you want to discuss today? Anything's on the table.
Well, all I've seen from reports over the last few weeks is that if we spend just over 100 million, we could get Tchouaméni, Stiller, and Hayden Hackney for just over 100 million. Tchouaméni, I don't think is injury prone. I'm not really sure what Ian was on about there. I don't think Tchouaméni is injury prone at all. He's been injured, but so has every other player in the world. Like, I don't think his injury record is bad compared to the next player, but okay, fair enough. And the fact that someone would spend 70 million on Carlos Baleba is a laugh. Yeah. Carlos Baleba this season, bloody, that does not look like a player I want near Man United at all. But
it's tricky, isn't it? I think we're fans, like we're looking at what the player's doing. I think Man United with Baleba are looking at potential and what the things he likes. So it's really difficult. I'm not a professional scout. I would just look at people and say, there's some players I like. Like I do like Tchouaméni because I think defensively he's really solid and he can play centre back, but I wouldn't be looking to do that. I would say that he could be quite a useful building block with someone like Mainu further forward. And I don't know. It's an interesting one because I think United would definitely get him if he was available, but we don't know if he's available. Do you like worry about Ederson? Like, do you think Ederson? Because a few people are concerned that the fact we might possibly move for Ederson means that we're going to be signing players that are going to be quite cheap. I think that's what people are a bit concerned about, but I don't necessarily think that is the case.
See, Ederson reminds me of Wesley Sneijder. And do you remember Nicholas Gaitan, Benfica fella? We were rumoured with Gaitan and Sneijder all the time, but ultimately we never really went in for them. So I look at someone like Ederson and I just think, is this a story that's getting put out there to just sort of keep the fan base quiet a little bit? Because we've seen that sort of thing all the time. I don't think we're going to get Ederson because we never do. We've been rumoured with him for the last 4 years.
I was going to say, I remember at least a couple of years we were linked to him, and we must have gone through like a couple of managers since then. And the story seems to be that he's getting cheaper and cheaper. And I was just thinking that if they did get him, then it wouldn't really make a lot of sense because he's a little bit older than the players we tend to be looking to try and sign. He hasn't got the Premier League experience.
No.
So feasibly, if you signed Ederson now, Ederson's not really going to improve, is he, over the next few years, which is what you were aiming towards, building towards?
No, he's not. And for 40 million, you could also get Alex Scott. You could get James Garner, who are Premier League proven. Ederson isn't. And we'd pay the same for Ederson as we would for Alex Scott or James Garner, someone like that. So I wouldn't pay much attention to this Ederson story if I were you. I
think when people say the people have agreed terms, I think a lot of people think that means the transfers in the pipeline. But effectively, Man United could agree terms with like loads of players, and then
we've agreed terms with Baleba.
Yeah, exactly. A year ago, and Baleba's not a Man United player unless I've missed something massively. That and he might never be. But
that agreement's still in place. Romano put it out. Baleba's happy with the terms. He still is. All we've got to do is agree if he were Brighton. But the fact that people would pay 70 million for Baleba, I think, bloody hell, would you?
Let me just close read this comment because Ian was just addressing like what he thought was a risk and saying that there was games, I think, an ankle ligament in the same leg. So he's saying a risk, but I think most people say a good footballer.
He's a brilliant footballer, Tchouaméni.
How much would you pay for like Nice fans
70 million is not a risk on Baleba.
How much?
I said 70 million is not a risk for Tchouaméni, sorry, not Baleba.
Yes.
Baleba is around about 40, 50 million.
No, yeah, I agree.
But 70 million for Tchouaméni, definitely not a risk.
No, I don't think it is either. No, because we've got a big hole when Casemiro goes.
Exactly.
Got a massive hole, and I do think Tchouaméni fits it. Sorry, I was going to say fixes it. I think Tchouaméni fits it. So
I think he ticks a few boxes for me. Like, do you know, when we're looking at who we sign, and we look at Anderson and think, okay, he's unrealistic. I think Tchouaméni becomes an interesting target because he's effectively replaced Casemiro at Real Madrid, didn't he? So in terms of what he does, he's good in the air, good on the ball, very good passing, defensively solid. And I think if he was available, he'd be up there. It is the question mark is going to be if he signs a new contract at Madrid, which I think is probably likely. If that happens, who do you like then as an option? Like, do you rate Tonali? Like, do you think he'd be a good option? Because he seems to be talked about a little bit.
Absolutely, I think Tonali would be brilliant. Yeah, but at the same time, I think Tchouaméni would be a much easier signing, and we've got to think about Ineos. Like, they're going to go for the easier signings, aren't they? Tchouaméni's fallen out with Real Madrid, which, yeah, I know that doesn't entice you as a fan to bring him in, but that sort of thing does entice Ineos. You know, we'll get a better deal on Tchouaméni than we would someone like Tonali, who Newcastle want to keep. So they're going to squeeze every penny out they can, whereas Real Madrid probably wouldn't. So I do think Tchouaméni is a much more realistic player to get than Tonali. But yeah, Tonali would be fantastic. That's what I mean, though. Like, if we can get Tchouaméni and Tonali, or one of the two, maybe get an Alex Scott or a James Garner, I'd be happy to bring in someone like Carlos Baleba as a backup option. But if you can't come to me and say, let's spend 70 million on Carlos Baleba. I mean, Jesus. Like, where's he been all season? On the bench.
Exactly.
So 40-year-old James Milner can play.
Yeah.
But no, he's a young player. He's a prodigy, but I do think there's an attitude problem there. Hence why he's not playing over 40-year-old James Milner. But yeah, I don't want to bring Carlos Baleba in as a first choice. That's a worry.
Few people talking about Fernandes today. That West Ham played well today. People are comparing, saying he played better than Declan Rice. Unfortunately for West Ham, we won't talk about VAR, but they didn't win today. Do you see him as a good option? Like, it's looking like if West Ham get relegated, then Fernandes could be available for, again, probably cheaper than Ederson, possibly.
Well, yeah, I mean, but isn't he? And I could be mistaken. So please, in the chat, let me know if I'm wrong. But isn't he more of an attacking midfielder, which we've already got probably too many of? You know, we'd have
Mateus Fernandes.
Yeah, like we'd have Mason Mount, who is more of an attacking midfielder. We tried to put him in the midfield yesterday. I don't know what that was all about, but we've got Cunha, who's an attacking midfielder who we keep sticking on the wing, who doesn't seem to be working.
Yep.
Bruno, obviously an attacking midfielder. Mateus Fernandes, again, I thought he was an attacking midfielder. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought he was. Maybe I just haven't watched enough of him.
No, he was.
Yeah, so are we throwing all our eggs into one basket, really? I mean, because we seem to have a lot of attacking midfielders when we've got the best attacking midfielder in the world currently. You can laugh at me for that, but I do think Bruno is currently the best number 10 in the world.
Yeah.
We've got Cunha, who's number 10. Very good player, don't get me wrong, but he's not going to get in ahead of Bruno, so we're putting him on the left wing and then talking about spending 90 million on Diamande. Do you know what I mean? Like, we seem to be putting all our eggs into the wrong baskets. Like, we've got problems, but we're sorting out positions that don't need to be sorted. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'd say the ones that we need to is the central midfielder and DM and all that lot. Those are the main issues that we need to sort out, and also possibly defense as well. I think, like, you know, De Ligt, he's always injured. He's hardly played over the last few games. As I said, right back. Like, you know, Luke Shaw, he's getting on a bit. We need to replace him. Left back needs some sorting out as well.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
No,
Tom,
no,
to go
you-
through a couple of the comments about your question about Fernandes, Jules says he sees him as a attack-minded centre midfielder. And there was a comparison, actually, someone in the chat said they compare him a bit, say like Modric, so like more of a attack-minded. But again, I think it depends. Do you see Man United maybe getting competition for Mainu as well? Like it might be someone to play alongside Mainu, it might be some competition for Mainu, because it depends, doesn't it? If we signed Fernandes plus Tchouaméni plus like another more defensive-minded midfielder, maybe that would be something that I know people in the comments, we quite regularly mention a few cheaper options like Hayden Hackney's been talked about, and maybe they're considering that not every the amount of midfielders we might buy, like attacking eights is down. So everybody's saying the same sort of thing, that more attack minded. But do you feel like, I saw one comment from Ryan actually, he said there's so many midfielders linked, he feels a bit unstressed about it. So do you think there's so many targets that even Man United have to get at least a couple of good ones, surely?
Yeah, well, maybe we do need a player in every position except number 10. I mean, even backup goalkeeper, because both the full backs, I don't think they're good enough. Defense, as you said, yeah. Midfield, definitely need new midfield. We only have one striker. Left wing, we don't appear to have a left winger, except Dorgu. Right wing and Burma and Ahmad. So yeah, okay. Maybe apart from number 10 and right wing, maybe we do need a new position, a new player for every position. Because I do worry about the centre backs at the moment. Martinez is injured all the time. De Ligt, I mean, he just seems to have done him last year. I don't know where De Ligt is. Lenny Yoro, I can't click with Lenny Yoro. I'm sorry. That's the point. Lenny Yoro. He is the first United player ever who I can't click with.
Really?
Can I explain why?
Go on.
So we signed Lenny Yoro for 60 million from Lille, didn't we?
Yep.
Bear in mind, this is a French lad who grew up in France, played for Lille. So Real Madrid are going to sign Lenny Yoro. Right. So then we swoop in with 60 million again, and it comes to United. And everyone goes, oh, Lenny Yoro chose United over us. I'm like, did he? Because bear in mind, Real Madrid don't pay for players. They sign them for free. I think we're being used a bit here with Lenny Yoro. Go to United. Sorry. I think someone rang Lenny Yoro. Go to United, develop, and we'll come back to you when your contract's free. I'm sorry, and that is the reason I just can't click with Lenny Yoro. I think we're being used. I cannot click with that kid at all. I don't think a French kid is going to choose Man United over Real Madrid, despite how big we are.
She was thinking.
Hmm.
He is pretty young though, so
He is very young, so I think we'll get the best. I think we still get the best of him.
Yeah, are you saying that you don't think he's good enough player, or do you think you're not sure he's got a long-term future?
I think the idea is he runs down his contract and goes to Real Madrid.
Yeah, Vicky says young player, and Varane sings his praises a lot. I think he's definitely Aiden Heaven and Yoro are 19 and 20, so I think they're potentially the long-term future. But again, if it depends, like I have no idea what Yoro wants to do long-term. If he wants to play for Real Madrid, then I think he's still got a lot of improvement to do, and he wouldn't be getting a move anytime soon there. But I think with Man United, they see him as a long-term future. But I think Aiden Heaven is a bonus as well because he was so cheap that he's definitely got a big future as well. I think it'll be fine overall. But
I love Aiden.
It's an interesting theory. That one, you never know. Is there anything that you're concerned about in the transfer window then overall? I remember last time, a couple of weeks ago, you were talking about Carrick. Do you think that, is Carrick pretty much got the job, do you think? Because I'm not seeing a lot out there that's talked about.
Yeah. I think Carrick's got the job. I don't agree with it. I'm sorry, but I think he's got the job.
Why don't you agree with it?
Because I don't like the way we're playing. I don't like the way we're playing. I thought the performance against Sunderland was pathetic, and I know the players down tools, but look, I just think we could go for better, but we're not. I think we're going for Carrick because it's a cheap option.
It might be. I think, he's got the job done, and he's got Man United third in the Premier League, which a lot of people in January would have thought would have been very difficult to get. I don't know what's going to happen. I think any manager that comes in, the transfer window has to be on point to try and make sure that you do okay in the Champions League, regardless whether it's Carrick or whether it's like any other head coach. You've got to make the transfer window's got to be good anyway. But it's difficult to predict how it's going to go next season.
Yeah, I don't think Carrick's the manager in 2 years' time. I just don't. I'm sorry. I think.
Know, do you?
No,
you know
I
was going to say?
Wrong.
I'd say that it's really difficult to guess, because I remember when Newcastle got taken over, everybody thought that Eddie Howe would be there for like a year. They'd get rid of Steve Bruce because they didn't like Steve Bruce, and then they'd have Eddie Howe for a year or 2 years maximum, and then he'd go. And he stayed there for, it must be quite a long time now. So again, I think it's if Carrick's in charge, who knows? Like maybe Michael Carrick actually has a really good season next season. I have no idea. It's difficult to predict. If they give him a good transfer window, though,
that's what needs to happen. It
gives him a good chance.
He needs a good transfer window. But when we get him, which I think we will, I'll back it.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely back him. I know.
So who would you have as your manager then?
I can give you my dream.
Go on, then.
The dream's Enrique, but I would bring Nagelsmann
in. See, Nagelsmann for me, I wouldn't have him. I don't know what it is about him. I wouldn't have him. I agree with the dream one with Enrique. He's done really well for Paris Saint-Germain, but at the moment, for me, I think why fix what's broken? We got Champions League football. Keep Carrick.
Yeah. I mean, look, hopefully I'm wrong, but I just see Ollie part 2. And Ollie did better than Carrick's done in his interim phase. But look, we'll see.
But the only thing is, don't forget what Ollie was having to deal with. He had to deal with the Glazers. Whereas Carrick is actually dealing with Ineos rather than the Glazers.
You kind of still have to deal with the Glazers a bit, though. They're still
but top, not as much, because of obviously they've said to Ineos, look, you do the footballing side of it, we do the commercial side, and that's what it seems to be. That's what seems to be happening. And also, he's got proper footballing men behind him, whereas Ollie didn't.
I don't think he does have proper football men behind him at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Brailsford, who's the other two?
He's gone. He's not. Brailsford's not a football man. He's
not Brailsford. Then
you're thinking of Brad and Wilcox, are you?
That's
Wilcox's record is questionable. I think Bel's doing really, really well.
Yeah, but they're the ones who brought in Mbumo, Cunha.
I could have brought in Mbumo and Cunha.
It was the easiest scouting ever. And Mbumo and Cunha, I said like this. If you looked at the Premier League table last year, going into the window, you could look, right, who scored the most goals in the Premier League? I think Mbumo and Cunha were in the top 5, and they were outperforming most players in any team apart from maybe Haaland, Isak, and Mo Salah.
Yeah, but look, if we had the other clowns in charge, would they have signed the Cunha and Mbumo?
They'd have probably found someone abroad that cost double.
Exactly.
Possibly.
Or they would have found would have found a cheaper option.
Well, the Glazers.
Their transfers over the 2 years that they've been here have been so on point. And considering that, they'd only been in charge for a month and they brought in De Ligt and Mazraoui.
Yeah, I think that the first window was a bit hit and miss. Like De Ligt's got injury issues, Agatha's a bit too expensive.
Yeah, but
Yoro was quite expensive. I don't think the last window though was brilliant. Like Lamans was the ideal signing. A goalkeeper where there's about 10 other options, all more expensive, and I think Lamans has outperformed most of those. So that was really good.
Yeah, but it was still a risk. It's a risk that paid off.
Yeah, it was a risk.
It's a risk that paid off. We could have gone for Martinez. and I'm glad we did.
Well, okay, I've got a question for you, Tom. Like, I was filmed saying it, so people will remember. But what was your reaction when we signed Lemons? Like, your honest reaction when we announced we were going to get him?
Right, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. When we signed Lemons, I dropped my granddad off outside M&S in the car. I was driving M&S car park. Looked at my phone for Fabrizio Romano. Lemons, here we go. I could have threw my phone out the window. I wanted Martinez. Honestly, I had to stop myself from throwing my phone, but how wrong I was.
My reaction was
Lemons over Martinez, but it was still a risk.
Yeah, it was. I was going to say my initial reaction when we got Lemons was completely open-minded. I had no idea whether it'd be a good signing or a bad sign. I had not, like, the data that people would be pushing out there would say, okay, what he was doing in that league he was playing in was very good, but I had no idea how he'd work in the Premier League. I just thought there was loads of options. I was actually quite surprised Man United went for him because it felt a bit risky because he's never played in the Premier League. He's not played in one of the top 5 leagues in Europe, and it was quite risky, but it did pay off. So I'm just wondering whether they might do that.
What actually got me was that he trained under Courtois at Belgium.
I think you got to say, like, with the goalkeeping scouts, like, well done. Like, Tony Coton did a great job. They recommended a good goalkeeper. They went with it, and it worked out really well. So maybe there is something in, like, the scouts, and Belal is like one of the guys that was definitely, I'm sure he's behind that one. But we're going to get the next caller in. Tom, thank you for getting involved.
No worries, mate. I'm on 2% anyway, so it's good timing.
Yeah, good.
Cheers, Tom.
Thanks very much, lads. Great to be on.
Take it easy, bro.
You too, mate. See you later.
Yeah. Now we're going to get in Mr. Mo. So big up to you, Kerwin. You'll be next, and Omar as well. Good to get you in backstage. Mo, how are you feeling? You probably heard a few interesting takes on different things, but what are you thinking?
So if I had a choice, my first choice would be Tchouaméni for sure. I think he's a world-class player, and like one of the other guys said, that all players get hurt throughout the season unless you're Bruno Fernandes, then said that you don't get hurt and said that you just keep on playing. But he would probably be my first choice, and then I like Tonali at Newcastle, and some people might not like him either, but I like Guimaraes too. But I mean, a lot of these players, it's all going to come down to how much are we willing to spend and how much is the actual price. So, I mean, those are just a few that I watch play that I like. So, I mean,
it's a solid option, isn't it? Like, Tchouaméni is a solid option. Are you worried about Ederson? Like, when people are talking about Ederson, and I hear panic with, like, oh, is this the standard? And people are, I think it's like you're never going to get the most expensive signing done first. And
no,
I don't even know we're going to sign Ederson. It could just be people getting a bit, what's the word, dramatic about the first.
You mean the one that scored today, Rich?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, the way that I see it is, if that's who we're going to go after first, okay, cool. But I would like to see someone that's a level better than him next. Like, don't should make that the actual standard, and that's my only concern. But I mean, I'm not gonna send to run around like the freaking skies to like falling down because
they haven't even signed him yet.
No,
that's the thing, that journalists are like all over this, etc., all over it. No, is there anything like you're concerned about that? What's your take on Carrick? Is it like Carrick's job to lose? Like, are you overly concerned if he got it, or do you not mind?
So yesterday was a boring game, but like I said on the show, let's give him a shot because we're in Champions League football, and he's the one that's driving the ship right now. And so, I mean, I would sign him to a year contract and see what he does, and get him some like players and like see what he does. But I think the problem with a lot of people is we have a poor result, or we have a game like we had yesterday that was crap, and everybody's sudden knee jerk sudden reaction is, "Oh my God, Carrick is some shit." Oh my God! Like,
Yeah, I was going to say, Mo, I can't remember what we did after the Liverpool game, but if we did the survey then, it might be a bit. It might be like be a bit different. But if Man United then, on the back of like we're going to play Forest next, aren't we? If we beat Forest at home, like Forest got nothing to play for. If we beat them at home, people would have a positive reaction. It's as it is, isn't it? But people
Yeah.
have a.
Wonder what people would be saying because of Alex Ferguson back in the day. He had some he had some like he had some poor boring 1-0s or 0-0s, like boring draws, right?
Listen, so
he didn't get half of the crap as it is today because it's social media. Everything is all blown out of more proportion. I think if Alex Ferguson was in charge now, he would still be like people were saying, "Oh, he's crap. He's a crap manager. He shouldn't be here." Blah blah blah.
Do you not remember back in the day? Like it must have been like the late 80s, and there was newspaper articles saying why Alex Ferguson needs to get sacked. So that it was getting close to that. It did get quite close to Alex Ferguson getting sacked.
It did.
But it took long. It took longer back then.
All I'm saying this, I think he should get a year contract. Hopefully, the like front office can get him some of the targets that he wants that they can agree on, and then you go from there. But so what I want to see is, can he learn? Can he say, okay, so this the team that I have right now is not working. Let me be reactive sooner rather than later, and like to make make the proper changes, because like I said 2 or 3 seasons ago, when we were playing Chelsea, Maresca, like he was getting ran through like in the midfield, and in the to the 32nd minute he made changes. So that's kind of what I want to see. Like, I don't want him to sit back till the 75th minute and say, okay, we got to go for the win now. Let me make all these changes and hope that it works. That's all that I ask, is that he learns and that he can change things up when it needs to be changed up. But I mean, and I don't want to talk crap, but if we had a certain manager that we started the season with, we would probably be like not where we're at now, because we're in third. We got Champions League football, and if we didn't change the manager when we did, then we'd be a lot worse off. So I mean, you got to give the guy a chance. And I know that.
I'll say I'll go for a few comments. Lucky Singh says I'm giving him 1 or 2 years, 3 midfielders and a right winger. I think Man United generally looking at left one, but you're going to need a right winger and a couple of years. Marp says this romanticism with the fan base and Carrick needs to stop. I don't think it's romantic. I think people are just looking at the league position, a lot of it. Real says, let me remind the Carrick out crew that Eric Ten Hag and Amarin had experience in the Champions League, and
Well, proven managers.
Proven managers, yeah.
So I'm not having a like romance with Carrick, but I mean he got us into Champions League football. Like I don't understand. Give the guy a chance, because if, like G-Wolf said, when like Fergie took over, he had 2 seasons where we were horrible, and
Yep.
look what he did. And now I'm not comparing Carrick to Fergie, but I'm saying give the guy at least a year and see what he can do. Let him get.
I think we should give a manager. We should always give a manager 3 years, no matter what. Like because of a year doesn't really do much. So if you a standard manager's contract is always going to be 3 years, and if he hasn't done anything in that time, then we should look to move on. But if you can see some positives, like
3 years
Carrick,
is like about 3 times more than you get at Chelsea. I'll say that. It depends. When you said whatever happens, G Wolf, when we finish 15th, I would say
but
for
as
me,
long as you see,
red flags start waving.
progression each season, then why change the manager?
It depends, doesn't it? It depends what you see. Like if you're Spurs, you can make an argument saying that they probably sacked a manager and got the worst manager they've ever had, and they might be very, very lucky that they got a good manager towards the end. But no, I think the situation with Ruben was slightly different, wasn't it? Because he kind of like said a lot of things, which then meant he got himself fired, didn't he?
Well,
but
so,
Fan says you're correct. It's a G-Wolf is correct. You're saying you give him 3 years. Okay.
So but the thing with Ruben was he was hard-headed, man, and he had players playing where they shouldn't have been playing, and no, I'm gonna stick with he was a 3-4-3 guy. Okay, cool, but if you don't have those players, at some point as a manager, you have to realize, I can't do that. Let me switch up just kind of tweak them, not like change the entire thing. But then we would have a game where we got absolutely beat up, and he goes, "Oh, we played well." Like, what game did you watch? Because the one that we watched, no, we were like poor. So he didn't want to change to nothing, and that's why he got to let go. Because like I said, if he was still the manager, we would be at least 12, 16. So that's just my 2 cents. And then I know this is off topic and I don't really care, but I think some drastic changes need to happen with how games are called, because West Ham got hosed this afternoon. They got hosed because all season long, Arsenal have been to the wrestling, to the tackling, like all that crap, and nothing was called, and then it's called this. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, we've been talking about that all season, haven't we? It's kind of spoiling games a little bit. And Mo, we're gonna have to get the next caller on to go through a few people more tonight. But big up to you, Mo. Hopefully, get you on soon. We're doing call-ins after every single match as well, where we will be discussing the game. So, and again, this decision today, it was pretty much VAR deciding relegation and the league, wasn't it? So, yeah, disappointing. But big up to you, Mo.
See you later, Mo. Take it easy, bro.
A good call from Mo. VAR is a joke, isn't it? If we did like a VAR stream, we'd just be getting angry about it because it's been It's ruining football, isn't it? People watch the game, they celebrate a goal, then
Yeah.
then a referee just looks at it and decides with his friends who wins the game. It's just really annoying. Someone said, "What's the war chest this year, Duoff?" I reckon we could spend close to 300 if you
Yeah, same
deal
here.
things. I think it'd be like 200-ish, and then you're looking at maybe about
Player
90
sales
million
plus
sales.
also don't forget Champions League as well is 100 million. We got round about 300 million to spend this summer.
Yeah. But we're gonna get Kerwin in. Big up to you. How are you today?
Hey guys, I'm okay. I've actually got a bit of a cold, so I
Oh,
guess
bless
just
you.
bear with me if I
Hope you
sound.
feel well soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I think I agreed and disagreed with a lot of what was said before. I've come on, but like if we could discuss, I think maybe this midfielder of Ederson, or the idea of Ederson coming into the team. I think one of the biggest issues that the club is going to have this season is the time limit to get players in before the start of the season. We saw at the beginning of the season how it affected us getting Sesko in quite late. And I think that maybe getting an Ederson over the line or a player early over the line is important to the club. But I think more importantly, if you reflect on yesterday's game, the biggest issue our club have at the moment in the squad is that midfield doesn't have much size, and Casemiro is leaving. So now you have an even bigger issue. You're losing one of your big men in the midfield. And out of all the midfielders that we've been linked with, the only big guys that we've really been linked with is Tchouameni, which we've been told now is not really going to happen. And then Belal and this guy, Ederson. Now, I don't actually know what Ederson is like. I haven't watched him before. I think I've actually seen Atalanta play this season. He was on the field and he didn't really stand out to me. But from some of the clips that I've seen, he looks like he's got some qualities. But I think more importantly, when you look at his height and his weight, he's in that kind of Gundogan, Bruno Guimaraes category of size. And I've seen him take a couple of free kicks for Atalanta. So he can strike a ball as well. So I think the idea there with bringing someone like him into the club at a cheap price is if you add him and a Belal for, let's say, 80 mil to 100 mil as a pair, all of a sudden you can go out and find one of the smaller players like, what's his name? The guy that plays for West Ham, Mateus Fernandes. If you go for someone like Fernandes, after you've got your two big guys like a Ederson and a Belal, all of a sudden you've got someone that can rotate with a Kobe Mainoo. And then your midfield's more or less solved. So I'm not against the signing of an Ederson. I mean, to be honest, I need to see more of him. I think that's probably the case with all the players that we sign. We probably need to see him in a United shirt first. But I kind of like the idea of going after someone like him because he's in that, like I said, that heavy category. Those players that weigh like above 75 kgs. I think he weighs about 80 kgs, 1.83. I think that's like 6 feet for the American viewers out there.
Yeah, I was just I read something earlier today, and they were describing him as strong, like physically strong, saying, and I was thinking, okay, like because people looking at, I can't remember what the article was, but that was one of the things they emphasized, said that someone's a physical presence. I would say I'm going to go for a few comments because Jules, I know, has watched Ederson for a few years and actually quite rates him. So I think it's quite difficult to get people's opinions because I don't watch a lot of Serie A, so I kind of see a few European matches. But Jules said that he quite liked what he saw from Ederson. And I think he also said that he adds goals, not going to say prolific, but he can strike a ball. He adds goals to the team. He's going to be good aerially, physically. I think it's about raising the kind of the floor of our club. So if you got better options, possibly, but then if Ederson is actually in the team as well, it's not going to be a big drop off. I'm being open-minded with this one because I have no idea how he's going to work in Man United. I think that I'm kind of trusting the scouts a little bit on this one about what they think, whether it's going to work. And also, we haven't actually signed him yet, so we don't know for sure it would happen.
Oh, absolutely not. I think we're just playing devil's advocate at this point in time. And I think, just highlighting that physicality, if you looked at yesterday's game, I mean, I felt like if you had to drop Aiden Heaven into central midfield just to anchor Kobe Mainoo, or one of the defenders like a Martinez or Maguire stepped out and anchored Mount and Kobe, because they kind of they didn't really dovetail quite well together when it came to who's the 6 and who's the 8. So it just didn't work out. They were just too small, and they couldn't get behind. They couldn't get behind the ball quick enough. And I think a part of that is also, like I said, had to do with size. I mean, you often find them on the floor. I saw Mason Mount on the floor a lot yesterday, and that doesn't bode well. But if you go and look at the bench, and I think a lot of criticism has come onto Carrick recently, but I think it's a little unfair because there's no midfielders to choose from on that bench. There was no one, absolutely no one. They had the Fletcher brothers, the twins, and there's no other midfield. Casemiro wasn't available and Ugarte wasn't available. So what else were you going to do? I think maybe there should have been more experimentation. I think he went more on his principles, similar to like maybe what Alex Ferguson might have done. The players that are probably that work the hardest in training, or the most likable options at that point in time, as opposed to let me throw Aiden Heaven into as a defensive midfielder, or let me throw Martinez into midfield because we don't have any defensive midfielders available. So a lot of criticism on Carrick, but I think that you need a war chest, as they say, in this Premier League, and we are very far from that. We need a few players to come in this window, and I know that a lot of people saying you got to get it right. We do have to get it right, and I think that a punt like Ederson, if it works out, it could be a shrewd move for us in the long run, because we need to try to save the pennies where we can for when we really need to blow some big money on that player that we know is going to be that bona fide star for us and take us to the next level, which might be in next season.
Yeah, because I think if you don't need to spend money for the sake of spending money, like Lamans is an example of that. And I think I'll be generally open-minded with somebody like Ederson, because I think people I know that watch him are quite, they're fairly positive. I'm a bit neutral because I can't say I've watched a lot of them. So if you're looking at this one, maybe maybe there's a reason why we're discussing it at the moment, and maybe we don't even go for the player. But Vicky said he gets booked quite a bit, and saying that he's quite physical. I think that's one of the things that when you're looking at that. I remember when we looked at Turkey, because we were playing in the Europa League a year ago, I thought Turkey was like, you could see like physically he was absolutely fine, looked like a good strong runner, the ball skillful. I thought, okay, he's going to have no problem in the Premier League. I haven't watched Ederson enough to draw that conclusion, but people that have watched him think he would be fine. So
I can't say that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that, like, from the little that I have seen of him, the one thing that does concern me is he's got good feet. Like, he can put his foot on the ball, but is it quick enough? Like, we see the issues that Xerxes has. It might be slow at the moment because he's playing in Serie A. And also, funny enough, even though he's strong and he looks super strong, he's got those like rugby style looking legs. I've seen him go to ground a lot in the compilations that are floating around. He looks like he can win free kicks, and I think that bodes well for us if we do sign a player like that. But again, like I said, we need to see him actually in a red shirt or in the
exactly. I think I've seen some compilations, but all the compilations seem to be midfield passing quite short, or maybe like going kind of in contesting possession, and so it seems like he's a competitive midfielder, and you're not going to watch a compilation of goals or those sort of things, but it does seem to be someone that's going to be. I think with this one, this is probably the question saying he's quicker with his feet than Xerxes. Sometimes it depends. That there's always a little bit of an adaptation process to the league. Not for everybody, but again, it's just like if we dropped him into the Premier League now, I don't know how he would do. It's just a guess, but I think it feels like a reasonably safe option. I would guess. I don't know what you think, Jewel. It's not going to be a big money.
Me personally, I like by what people are talking about Ederson, because I don't know too much about him, but he sounds like that he's more of a squad player than a world-class player. Like I see him. Just see him like, he's a bit if he comes into Manchester, if he does come to us, we won't get to see him that often, but when he does come in, and as a first, when he does come into the first team, he will do well. Like, you know, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like
Yeah.
he'd be like a fringe player, sort of,
Well,
like
not
one of the
necessarily a
fringe
fringe
players.
player.
So
It sounds like you're describing someone that's more Darren Fletcher borderline, which is someone that actually at some points in the season can go on like a 2-month run where he's playing every game,
yeah,
which is important to the I guess to our goals at the end of the season. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Look, I will say though, could you picture this over here? Because I was thinking about this here, because he's in, like I said, he's in that same weight class and size as someone like Bruno Gomes. Could you picture us lining up with a back three, just in some random game? Just picture this: a back three, and then you have a midfield of Belal, Bruno Gomes, Kobe Mainoo, and Bruno Fernandes. Like 4 semi-combative midfielders who can kind of win most of their duels in the defensive areas with Belal, or let's say Ederson in this case, if we signed him, and
Yeah,
then high up the field with a Kobe Mainoo and a Bruno Fernandes. These kind of conundrums that you can throw at opposition teams is something that you need in your arsenal. If you don't have them, then you're playing Mason Mount and Kobe Mainoo in midfield, and we saw that doesn't work out.
yeah, that didn't work yesterday. Literally, it was boring football yesterday. But
They
yeah,
couldn't
I
get
can
it
see,
just
I
showed,
can
like,
see
rhythm
that.
of the game.
Do you think, Geoff, it's just showed that in a couple of games this season, we've run out of actual sensible options? Like, we're playing Mazraoui next to Aidan Heaven as a centre-back partnership. You know,
Yep.
an organised club that's been building towards having an elite first team. That's not what
Yep.
happens, is it? Like, we've had a few games where you look at the lineup and go, okay, we've got a couple of people have been injured, and the lineup doesn't look like a lineup you put out if you're a professionally organised or sensibly organised team for years.
I mean, could you imagine if next season Cunha got injured for 3 months?
Yeah, exactly.
What would happen to our season? It would be in the bin at this point in time. So there is that larger concern. And I don't want to talk about these other clubs, but like City and Chelsea or PSG for that matter, these clubs that are like fully loaded all over the pitch in every department. And we need like 10 or 11 players, and we need them to be like sure things, as one of the other callers said earlier. And if we don't get them right, the reset button is going to be very difficult, especially with Bruno's age at this point in time, because I think you kind of want to work that out carefully, where you can get the best out of Bruno and have the best players around him at his peak year, in his peak years.
Yeah, I think you made a lot of good points, and
You
people was
have.
talking about squad, saying not anything else. But we're
What
going
do you think? How much do
I was
you
gonna
think
say-
we got to spend this season?
I would say, Geoff, we'll have to get the next caller on because there's a couple of people behind the scenes waiting to come on. I just want to
worries.
thank Kerwin for
Okay.
coming on.
Thanks so
And-
much. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
We'll
Have a
keep
good
doing
time.
these, Kerwin. So hopefully, if you're around after a match, we're doing calling shows where we'll try and get through people. We got through a lot of people yesterday, and hopefully, if it's a good game, we'll get even more people on. So you're welcome anytime, Kerwin.
Well, enjoy the rest of the stream, guys. I'll be watching. Thank you.
Thanks, Kerwin. Appreciate that. People that just tuned in, we'll be able to get people on if you want to get involved. There is a link pinned in the chat, and if we run out of time, we're going to be live for like another 30 minutes at least, I think. Then we're going to be doing people a bit quicker. But there's been like a good range of people calling in, so thanks for getting involved. United Dice says, good job. Everyone's got a different opinion. It's like if you mention one single player, it could be Belieber, too many, Ederson. No one's going to agree at this point in time. I think what will happen is though eventually we'll sign somebody, and then we'll go right. Let's hope this is good, and we'll be positive for a bit. Hopefully it'll work out.
You're still gonna get those. You're still gonna get those niggles. Like, you know, whatever player that we sign, they're going like you. We're still gonna have
someone
that
with different-
controversial.
You never know, do you? It's like people are going to have
Exactly.
different opinions. It's absolutely fine. It's like no one knows. I remember last year people were looking at Lamans as a signing, and were questioning whether we should have gone for a more experienced goalkeeper. But you don't know, do you, until they play?
Exactly. Like, you know, if we signed Ederson tomorrow, say, people are going to say, "What have we signed him? He's crap." But then when he plays his first game and he scores, say, 2 goals and sets up one, they're going to be like, "That's
It's
the
like
best
Ollie
signing."
Watkins. Like, do you remember last year? It's like Sesko, Ollie Watkins, no one will agree which is the best signing. That no one's going to agree at all, are they?
Exactly.
So-
Well, I said Ollie Watkins, we need Premier League proven because he scored loads of goals. Like Sesko, yeah, okay, he's
What do you
young.
reckon now then?
he's-
You wanted Watkins last year. Like before we get Omar in, what did you think then? So you said Ollie Watkins. I said it was 50-50. It was tough. What do you think?
Tell you the truth, I'm glad that we got Sesko. He's been pretty good this season. But hopefully with a decent pre-season with us, hopefully he'll crack on.
Yeah,
You know what I
9 goals
mean?
so far. 9 goals
Yeah.
for Sesko so far. Not too dissimilar to Gyökeres and Ollie Watkins. So pretty decent. Let's
Yeah.
get Omar in.
And he's still young.
And welcome to chat, Omar. How are you feeling tonight?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So you can talk about anything. We're kind of covering transfers today, but you can talk about anything you want to talk about.
To be honest, kind of expected you to ask me the question, but it's okay. So about Ederson, I don't think we're in advanced talks. Anyways, I saw Fabrizio Romano's YouTube video. He said we're not in advanced talks. So really, whether I like him or not in our team, I don't know because we're not really advanced talks with anyone. But obviously, if it was in my hands, I would get Tonali as my experienced CDM. I'd get Stiller as the second midfielder. And the third midfielder, I would get Alex Scott. And
Good options. Do
for
you are you worried that Man United will mess it up, or do you think there's like enough targets out there that if we get 3 of them that are on the short list or the list we've seen, you'd be happy with them?
to be honest, I kind of worry about them messing it up every year, so it's not really worrying.
I was thinking, the thing that worried me about Lamans was not about whether Lamans was a good enough goalkeeper. It was that it was literally he had to work, or we got Bayern there. So again, it feels a bit like every transfer window. You've got to be looking at that one as well. Is there any players you think definitely don't sign that we've been linked to?
Bareba. Bareba, definitely. Also, yeah,
Okay.
honestly, like, not only has been, he's not been the best this season. Like, I don't think he suits the mentality of what a Man United player should be, you know? And also, don't sign, to be honest, in my opinion, what we need in most of positions, especially the CDM position, is experience. Like I said, Tonali, Tchouameni, um, even Ampadu as the third midfielder, I wouldn't mind from Leeds. There is also there's a bunch of CDMs out there that are experienced, that are consistent. It really depends on what we're actually gonna go for. Because if we go for Baleba and we put him in the CDM position, it's not gonna work out. It might work out for the first 4 months, but after that, it's gonna go all down the drain. That's what I think of the Baleba thing. And for other positions like left back, right back, right back, this is actually gonna sound surprising. Have you guys heard of Ryerson from Dortmund?
Yeah, no, he was talked
Ryerson, yeah,
about
I've heard
a
of
couple
him.
of months ago as like a potential target.
He's honestly one of the best attacking right backs this season, even last season. Every time I watch him, he just crosses into the box. Every time, defensively, clean, good defensively.
How old
He
is it? How old is he? Because I saw a couple of comments. United Side Dice says
28,
he's
I
class,
think.
and then it says 17 assists as a right back, which is pretty impressive.
He's good, honestly. Every time I watch him, especially when I watched him against PSG and Barcelona, attackingly, he was just amazing. He was causing Barcelona problems in that right side. And for left back, I would go for Lewis Hall is my dream, but that will not happen. Troffert from Bournemouth.
Yeah, he's been talked about. The thing that's intriguing about the right back you mentioned, Ryerson, is like 17 assists from a right back is ridiculous. I think is it DeMarco's got a crazy amount of assists as well as a fullback. But you're looking at someone like, if it's about 28, I think Man United would probably be. I don't think we'd be signing someone that's age. Not the signing might make a lot of sense, but I get the feeling that we're kind of got this idea that we're not going to sign someone that age. But no, he was definitely talked about, because I looked at him maybe about 2 months ago and so. Do we cover him on a stream in the summer? So maybe we mentioned him. I think David Raum's been mentioned a bit as well. And there's been a few these sort of players. Do you think we go for one of these signings that we don't tend to talk about them loads because we cover midfield targets seem to make the bulk of a lot of streams and news. But Raum and Ryerson, I've seen Kadioglu talked about, Truffert, like you mentioned. There may be like one or two other ones as well. But do you think we will go for a fullback? We seem to be leaning towards left back this window possibly, but do you think we will go for one of these players?
Honestly, I think we, like you said, we're probably gonna go for a left back, even though Luke Shaw, he's been fit the entire season, even though that's down to European football and England World Cup. But we're not gonna talk about that because it's already been seen with the Euro
Yeah,
2024.
maybe we get his backup. Maybe we get somebody that if Luke Shaw then misses next season, we have a backup good to go, because we don't really have cover, do we? I don't like having Mazraoui or Dallo going over to the left as cover, and I think Dorgu will play further forward. So I think we need to get a left back if possible.
Like I said, Truffert is the pick.
Sorry for interrupting, Omar. when I was trying to list left backs, I forgot about Juve, because he's kind of been talked about if West Ham get relegated as potentially a good option and not an expensive one.
See, I don't want Juve as a
why not?
As our left back. Don't know. I think there's other decent left backs out there.
Who do you want?
I want Kadioglu. Literally,
I wanted Kadioglu a year ago. He would have been 25 million and a good deal.
He would have been.
He's been.
And he's still, I think even around about 30, 40, he's still a decent. He'll still be a decent fit for us.
Diouf is a good player. He's good attackingly. He's good defensively. I think he's been overshadowed with West Ham's potential relegation. Just like what's his name, Matheus Fernandes, Somerville, who else? I think the players who were good or decent, like in the West Ham side, were overshadowed with how bad the team as a whole was. Oh my God! I just saw Lucky Singh. I want to bleach my eyes by seeing Carlos Baleva's name.
I think what's weird is that when you look at West Ham, and if they're likely to get relegated, it seems at the moment, they're actually the one team that I can pick out a lot of players at West Ham I quite like. Like I said, in the January they sold Luca Paqueta, who was talked about a little bit, and you got Fernandes, you got Juve. People talk about who's the other guy that Somerville people are talking about, and you've got Bowen, who's had a decent season.
Yeah, Bowen.
It's just weird how you put them on the same team. They've been dreadful for a lot of the season.
I think if we ever go to get some players from West Ham, the player I would go for is Matheus Fernandes as the third or second midfielder. I won't really get Diouf, even though in my opinion, he's good. But there are better options, like you said, Kadioglu, Truffert. Kadioglu, from the days of Fenerbahce, or where was he? In Turkey. He looked decent, especially at the Euros. But I was gutted when he joined Brighton the first time. I wish we got him that time, because he would have fixed our fullback issues, like especially the left back. Because that season where Luke Shaw was injured the entire season, because he was fit for England in Euro 2024, but just disappeared after. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah, no, we don't talk about Luke Shaw on a non-international year too much.
He'll go missing again.
You'll go missing again, you're right.
Yeah, I agree with
You're
your
right.
points, Omar, that you need to try and bring in some depth for those positions as well. We're going to have to get the next caller in because it's getting a bit later and I've got a couple of people backstage. But Omar, you're always welcome to come back on another time as well. Great call as well.
Before I go, is it okay if I suggest some depth for the bench?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So, as a backup striker, because I think we need one, because Zergzy, honestly, he's not a striker. I don't think he has the tools to be a striker. He's not quick enough. He's built. Honestly, he plays. I don't know how he plays. He reminds me of Berbatov, but uh, Timo version.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's definitely, it doesn't remind me of Berbatov too much. But no,
there's no other
I
players he
take your
reminds
point.
me of. Okay, so as a backup striker, okay, I would recommend there is Mateta, there is Kunjalo Ramos from PSG. There is
Yeah, he's talked
also,
about it. Yeah.
yeah, I heard we might get him on a loan. And for the midfield, since we need three midfielders, the third midfield option, like I said, Alex Scott or maybe Matheus Fernandes. And for the left back position, because I doubt we're gonna sign a starting one, because they want Luke Shaw to be starting, even though I don't think he's that good anymore. He can't run, he can't. He just can't go forward. He just stays at the back. Whenever I watch Luke Shaw play, we need like someone who knows how to defend and go forward at the same time, put crosses in. So the left back position, since I don't know if we're gonna sign a starting one, I would recommend maybe Nathaniel Brown from Frankfurt, or even even Kadioglu, because I doubt we're gonna start him straight away. And for the backup goalkeeper, I think we should recall well we should recall the goalkeeper from the
Vitek.
loan. Yeah.
Yeah, back from Bristol City.
Oh, VTech.
Yeah. Good options, Omar. And we're going to get the next caller in, but big up to you, Omar.
Yeah. Thanks
Speak
for
soon,
having me on.
hopefully.
Cheers, Omar. Take it easy, bro.
Pleasure, Omar.
Cheers, guys.
So we're going to bring in Broken Verdict, new caller to the stream. And also good to see you backstage, Eddy. We'll get you on very soon. So Broken Verdict, welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Very good. So what would you like to talk about this evening?
So I have a combination of many topics. For starters, I'd like to talk about the midfield, and then there's some stuff for the left backs and the managerial roles as well.
Yeah, sure.
So in terms of Ederson, so I've watched a bit of Atalanta this season, and I have a mixed opinion. The thing is, when I'm looking at players outside of the Premier League, I start to forget a little bit about everything they do, and I just focus on certain attributes that might like transfer well to the Premier League. Like for example, Serie A is a much slower league, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so I wonder whether like his passing ability, which is considered like his main attribute, works well. I mean, he is definitely a much more of a progressive like midfielder rather than like a CDM, what we're looking for. So I question that. I probably don't really want him, I'm going to be honest. That's...
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
What attributes do you look for then? Because I remember when I was saying earlier on in the stream that when we're playing against Turkey, you see someone that's confident, progressed with the ball, physically up for the battle, and he did well against us when we had a man advantage on the pitch, and he still scored and ran through our team. So I was like, okay, this guy's got something, and he's quite young as well.
So I mean, it depends on the league, sort of. For example, the Serie A is a slower league. I know for a fact that because it's a slower league and they sit. Some of the teams tend to sit back more. Like I call them line breaking passes, like passes that split the defense, split the midfield. They're something that I look for, because if that's the type of league you're playing in, I want to see that you can do that. For something like the Bundesliga, for example, I don't rate the Bundesliga very highly. I just don't think the players that go from the Bundesliga to the Premier League work that well, unless they have like one attribute that's outstanding. For example, I know this is not a midfielder from attacking. Like Erling Haaland is an outstanding number 9. He give him one chance and he's scoring, right? And then, but if it's your Timo Werners, your Sanchos, right? They need space, and the Bundesliga gives you that, but the Premier League doesn't. So for me, I like to see good line breaking passes. So a high forward pass percentage, number of key passes, and progressive passes or balls. That's something I look for. Carrying, not so much. Like how much they carry the ball is subject. I think that's the most subjective one in terms of depending on what league you're in. But yeah, I think just the passing percentages, and particularly the ones that are forward-thinking, breaking lines. That's my personal preference.
Yeah, who do you like that's not in the Premier League then as an option? Like we talked a bit about Ederson, but is there players that you see, like say for example, I know Angela Stiller has been linked a bit. We talked about too many a bit earlier today as well, and people talk about younger players like Boadi who might be a bit maybe unrealistic for this window. But is there players you look at that you think we should sign those players, or would you focus on the Premier League?
I would focus mostly on the Premier League, but I do have 2 names really that I like. First is Tchouaméni. I think he should be our number 1 Casemiro replacement, and the other one is Senghore, who plays for Lens. Yeah. So Senghore should be a little bit cheaper. I mean, I looked it up and it's something like 35. The 35 mil was probably what they want, but I don't know how much exactly.
That sounds about right. I think 35-ish just sounds like a starting point for him, for sure. Probably about double to get too many, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I think those 2, Tchouaméni and Senghore. Stiller, I do watch some Bundesliga, and I've watched some of his games. He's he's good. I'll say that, but it's not. Again, it's for me. I have this like PTSD with the Bundesliga where I'm like, we bought Sancho and he's probably arguably the worst United signing I've ever seen in my life. It's like a goal is worth like $1 million or something like that, and it's like, and I've seen other teams do it, and I was like, the team of Werners and all the stuff, and I mentioned them again. It's just like, I don't know this league, man. I'm not really feeling it. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind Stiller, but I think for me, if I had to pick a midfield 3, I'll probably or 3 signings, it'd be Tchouaméni, Mateus Fernandes, and then either like maybe try and get a João Gomez instead of just prevent Atletico from getting him, or maybe like you're talking a Senghore or Alex Scott. That's probably what I'd prefer.
You're pretty good options. If you got Tchouaméni and Fernandes, then I'd probably be quite relaxed about your third option, because you obviously still got Bruno Fernandes in front of them, and you've got Komenu. But I think Tchouaméni. Do you think it's realistic? Like that seems to be the one that I kind of think 95% of my brain is saying contract extension. That's what it's saying to me.
Yeah, I think it will be a contract extension, which is unfortunate. And then I think, assuming he does make a contract, like a contract extension, this is where it leaves United in a bit of in a tough position, because we're thinking Anderson's going to City, Tonali is too expensive, and if I'm going to be honest, I think he's going to go to Arsenal, and that's where I'm starting to go, well, our like 3 main targets of Tonali, Anderson, and Tchouaméni, and all these people, and it's like, well, one's went to our rival, the other ones went to our other rival. Both of them are already ahead of us. Tchouaméni is just extended, and we've got what? Belal? And then it's tough position.
Yeah, it is tough. But before we get Eddy on, what would you like to say regarding probably, like you said, we want to talk about fullbacks a little bit, and there's a few left backs, right backs we mentioned earlier, but what's your thoughts regarding that one? I'll just say quickly, I get the feeling that I'd be really surprised if we actually if we got a right back signed, that for me would suggest we've actually done loads of things, because I think there's probably low down the priority. I just want to say, Malp says he agrees with the caller as well, and Debassis is saying, I like the caller speaking his words. So yeah, people are agreeing with what you're saying.
In terms of the left back, so I haven't really looked at the right backs, to be honest, because I'm going to be maybe I'm controversial. I do not want to see Luke Shaw next year playing in the Champions League. If we go against Bayern Munich or a Dortmund, we are going to get rinsed. Like, is it Elise on the right side? Like, I cannot see Elise versus Shaw next year, because we are going to get battered. Like, he will destroy Shaw. I'm convinced that will happen. In terms of what my options were, so I got Truffert as my first option. I think Truffert for me is, he has he's also good at progressing the ball and crossing. And he's done well defensively. I think Barcelona are also in for him. That's what I heard, at least. But Kadioglu will also be like my second option. In terms of Diouf, I think Diouf is much better attacking than he is defensively. At least from what I saw today as well. He crossed the ball in a lot of times, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, people talk about that. I think people, that's the attribute they like with Diouf, like getting the ball in early and good quality crosses, and they look at Sesko and think that's something that we don't get in our team. So, but again, like he's only 21, isn't he? So again, I think it's going to be, he's quite young and he's playing in a not the best team. So you'd expect maybe it could be. Would you be happy with Diouf if you got, I suppose, with Luke Shaw, he'd be here, but so is he good in technical build-up? Says Jules. To be honest, I haven't watched loads from Diouf, but
to be honest, he's pretty. I think he's decent. He's decent. He could do a lot of improvements. There are times where I question his his decision making, and obviously he's 20 years old, so you can allow it. But there are times where maybe you shouldn't have made that pass. I think that pass. I mean, it is a little bit easy when I'm watching it on television to say you should.
Maybe this though,
you pass over there and not over there. But
do you think with Diouf, you're talking like it said, like 21-year-old football player? He's obviously got something about him, very good at delivering crosses, etc. And maybe that's the sort of player you bring in while you've still got Luke Shaw at the club that can then improve in this game. Because having someone that is experienced, I know Luke Shaw, people will talk about him, that we should replace him, but he will have a lot of experience, and it might be a bit like Maguire with Aiden Heaven, that you gradually have this overlap between previous generations of players. So it could. I think it's a good idea to have a mix of youth and experience. I'm not saying we should definitely sign Diouf. I think if you got Kadioglu, he's a bit more, and Truffert might be slightly better signing, but it's good to have options. I think one of the things I liked about this was potentially actually quite cheap deals if West Ham get relegated, which looks a bit likely at the moment.
Likely, yeah.
I think we might have G-Wolf, but have you got any final comments before we get Eddy? But also, thanks for getting involved in the chat. When I've seen you in streams as well, getting involved in streams I'm doing as well. It always helps when people post comments and helps to drive debate on solo streams as well. So thank you for that, Mo. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And hopefully we're going to do live call-ins for every match. I know there's only 2 games left of the season, but we will try and do these every Sunday. They might get a bit pacier once we get kind of used to the format and get people on a bit quicker. But thanks for your patience backstage as well. And we'll hopefully see you soon, Mo.
Yeah, thank you very much. And hopefully I'm at the Forest game.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get some tickets, yeah.
It'll be if you go to get tickets, you have to give us some feedback on Anderson, because I think one of the season ticket holders that watched the channel was very impressed when he watched Anderson early on in the season. Said he was amazing at shielding the back four, and things you don't always see on TV, I guess, that you can see when you're at a game. But good luck with that.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
Cheers, Mo. So thanks, Mo. And I think we lost G Wolf, but we're going to bring on someone I've known for quite a while, but I've not spoken to this guy for years. And I did message you recently, Eddy. Big up to you, Eddy. Good to get you
Yo,
on.
how you doing, mate?
Let's put you up here because I think G Wolf's like gone somewhere. I don't know. How are you feeling, Eddy?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can hear you properly. So what do you want
Cool.
to chat about
Yeah,
today? You probably
firstly,
listen
man,
back to
it's
games a
good
lot.
to chat to you again, man. It has been a couple of years now, and it's time goes quick, man. And big up
No.
G Wolf as well, man. I used to talk to him quite a bit back in the day, like when me and him were on a Flying Pig show. He used to co-host it. Co-host the side show anyway. Obviously, Flying Pig did the main show. There's been a lot of interesting discussion on players, man. For me, I just wanted to talk a bit on Carrick, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I'm in two minds about Carrick, right? I know you guys are supporting him, right? And I mean, if you just look at the bare facts, right? Like his accomplishments, beating 7 out of the top 10, I think it is, and then getting his Champions League qualification with a few games to go. He has technically bought himself a trial, man. Yeah, you would think he knows the club, knows the culture. You think, okay, he's probably bought himself a year or two to see what he could do. I've been saying, obviously, because he trained in the Ole, are we just going to get the same thing? Obviously, a lot of people have said that, right? But he is literally his own person. Does he have a higher ceiling than Ole to develop his tactics? That's the thing. I'm not sure, like, because I would prefer a manager that's more experienced. Because we're talking about Man United, we know what the legacy is. I'd prefer a manager that can play that gegenpress football, yeah, to challenge these Spaniards that are dominating the football at the top of the league. Yeah, we need someone like Klopp that comes in and knows how to take the game to Arsenal and City, right? Those were the best games. Like if you remember the title races a few years ago when it was Klopp versus Pep, those Liverpool versus City games, most of them were the best games. If you remember, because both teams press, right?
Yep.
So you're just having them go toe to toe in the middle. That's Man United need to be going toe to toe, man. I know Carrick's been doing well with the team, yeah, but a lot of games you get Man United where they're kind of sitting a bit deep, sometimes containing the game. There's been some good fast transitions, but in a game like against Liverpool where it was 38% possession at home, I know Man United won, but you want to see Man United having a bit more of the ball, surely. Would you not agree with that?
Result against Liverpool is the end of. I don't care about the possession as long as the result is Man United. That's all that's got to happen. And to get the double over them, brilliant. So I think even for that, he deserves the manager.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying, mate. I get what you're saying. I remember, we used to clash a little bit on our opinions, and I respect what you're saying with the results.
Yeah.
But
what's
in
tricky
life,
though, Eddy? What's tricky is you look at the results. The results are really good. Individual
yeah,
games.
I was just going to say real quickly, Rich. Can I just say one more point real quickly?
Sure.
Before you get results, usually you have to have a formula to repeat the results, which is why I always come back to performance when I talk about stuff. So yeah, that's the point I was trying to make.
But the only thing is, you think about the managers that we've had in the past. Like, we've had top managers, we've had bang average managers, and we've had piss poor managers as well, right? But if you look, there's only 2 managers, right, that have actually played the way that we should do, and that is Ollie and Carrick.
So you talk about post Fergie, right? Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. It's Fergie.
Well, I
the
can
only
remember.
2 that know Alex Ferguson's what Ferguson did. Those are the only 2 that, tell you the truth, out of out of all the matches, yeah, right, those two are the only two managers that have done well. The only thing that has let Ollie was letting Ollie down was the Glazers. Didn't get him
They've let
the players
everyone
that he
down.
wanted. They got the BTEC players that he wanted. But there was a lot of there was a lot of players that he wanted. He wanted Caicedo. Could have got him for 3.5. Didn't. Could have got Haaland for 1.5. Didn't
By
go
the
for
way,
them.
Ten Hag won 2 cups. I think obviously the way his tenure ended, it was bad. But you can't miss out Ten Hag's success with what he was doing, right? I'd also say, because I remember G-Wolf, we used to talk about this, yeah. There was a lot of performances under Ole where it wasn't good. There'd be good counter-attack. There'd be good counter-attack moments, but a lot of the time the possession's not good, the link-up wasn't good. I remember from the eye test, bro.
Got the results, though.
Well, he was this is the thing. What are you guys just going to be happy with? Just top 4, because that's what it was getting. It wasn't competing for leagues or big honors. The closest all they got was a Europa League. Sorry, that's a 2nd-tier competition. Didn't even win that, yeah.
The only thing is, didn't Ollie beat Paris Saint-Germain? Wasn't Ollie beat Paris Saint-Germain with a Rashford penalty right at the end? I'm pretty sure that was under Ollie.
You're talking about group matches in the competition. I think Eddie's saying about winning competitions, winning. And the difficulty is going to be that at the moment,
the only thing is he didn't make any substitutions in that match either.
I think the difficulty in comparing Ollie with Michael Carrick is Ollie had a couple of years, and you can see what he was doing over the long term. There's been no transfer windows since Carrick took over. The coaching staff is put together relatively quickly for a coaching staff, not a lot of time. And if Man United keep Michael Carrick, I think the coaching staff will be quite different next season. But the expectations will go up. Like, the expectations are not going to be keep getting third. The expectations are going to be at least get third, but do well in the Champions League. And it depends how, if we get a good transfer window, we should start looking to try and win things. Like, domestic cups, we should be making. Like, this season was a disaster. The Champions League, you've got to get to the knockout stage and be competitive with big teams. I think it's a difficult job. But I would say at the moment, Michael Carrick couldn't have done a lot more with the squad he had, apart from the football could have looked nicer. Like, the results have probably been about as good as you could have got from the situation we're in. And we got more points since January than City or Arsenal. But I think there's loads of question marks because it's impossible to tell how Carrick will cope with Champions League football. No one knows.
Yeah, I would say Carrick's definitely overperformed. I didn't expect this at all. Like, he's done something where we can see with Carrick, he knows how to manage to a certain point where the enthusiasm, the mentality. Like, one big thing I've seen is the way he's able to get the team to defend in numbers. Everyone, when they're defending, just compact. It was shocking how much Ten Hag and Amorim couldn't get that going. They couldn't get the team to properly defend as a team. It was shocking. That's fundamentals. So for me, that's one of the points that works for Carrick, where I'm thinking, okay, can he build on that? That's a good basis, right? But obviously, as Rich is saying, the expectation is going to go up. Yeah. Do you guys see Carrick actually developing the football? Because at Middlesbrough, the football had a ceiling. I mean, it's Middlesbrough, but still, you still have to have the intent to develop the tactics. I'm not sure.
I think he can.
It does come down to the players, like Rich was saying. I mean, if you're going to really support Carrick, right? Just one more point, G-Wolf. If you're really going to support Carrick, you've got to get him some of these players that have more initiative in terms of carrying the ball. Like what Mainoo's been doing a bit recently, carrying the ball forward a bit, You need that kind of player, right? I reckon people like Camavinga would be able to do that if he's available. Not sure about Shaw Mainoo. He's more of a static player, I think. I've not read into this Ederson guy. Does he carry the ball?
He scored today, so I think he does carry a ball.
Right. So that's the kind of right profile then. Someone that can overlap and not just sit there. So
Exactly. As I said, with Ederson, I think he's more of a squad player than he is a world-class player. Like, that. I think because of Casemiro, he's going. I think someone like Tchouaméni will absolutely benefit us a lot, especially because Tchouaméni does a lot of diagonal balls and a lot of he likes pass. He does like a good pass, a bit like a Paul Scholes type player. Tchouaméni is, so that's why I would really want him in the team.
He's got good
Mainly
passing.
because
I'll
of
say
his
that.
passing.
But yeah, if you're saying Ederson's a squad filler, I'm not happy about that. If Casemiro's going, obviously a world class player, in his time, you need to replace a world class player with world class talent. Surely.
See, I think you need a good squad play. You need a decent squad players as well. Like you can't just go for look at Man City. They've had world class players, and they still lose. Whereas back in the 90s, Man United, they didn't really have that many world class players. They had decent players. But not all of them were world class. They were squad players that did the donkey work. Whereas, I get
what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, but it's like where Man United are now, G Wolf, they need the extra jump start to get back to Man United where Man United was.
Exactly. And I think because we haven't got enough squad players that are decent squad players in our team at the moment, like most of them are poor. I think we need if we can replace them with decent squad players, then we'd do a lot better.
G-Wolf, we haven't got a midfield anymore. Like we're gonna probably sell Agate, Casemiro's gonna go, Toby Collier's probably gone. There's only Mainu. So when you say we need a squad, we need
squad players. We need squad players
on our bench.
We still need a squad. We need good squad players still in our team.
But you start with the starters. That's what Rich is saying. You get the world class guys in, and as you keep getting players in, your squad gets filled. Your squad gets filled as you get the world class players in to fight for the places.
If we get Tchouaméni and Anderson with Kobe Mainu, and then we can have the rest of the squad players. We'll be all right.
I think the problem is
players. We've already got one. We've already got one in Kobe.
Yeah, the problem
we
is
we can get Anderson and Tchouaméni.
We have to get Joe. We have to get about 3 players in. You're not necessarily going to get them in the order which is going to make it look more exciting to fans. We're not necessarily going to get the most expensive player signed first because that might be a more difficult deal. So if we go for Ederson,
especially
because
as
he's like
the World
the fourth
Cup is
choice,
coming up as well. But if we can get, as I said, as I say, Anderson 30 to 40, getting Anderson, getting Tchouaméni for around about 70 million. I don't know, I don't know why people are saying that 70 million is a risk for a player of his caliber. I think that would be a decent price for him. And then also, if we can get Anderson as well.
Also, along with them players, when the midfield's sorted out, right? That's the priority. I get it. That engine room's got to be sorted. At some point, some of these, obviously, Man United have to get some wingers because seeing Mbumo trying to play wing for Man United, right? I'm sure you guys see how flawed he is when he's just out there trying to contribute to the play. Like he's good at scoring, but creating chances, it's not there. You know, that's going to get really exposed in Champions League if you're carrying a winger. Like Diallo's good. You need more of Diallo's profile. So I'm really on this ball carrying players because that will really stretch the other team and that can help your possession. When you've got the other team worried about your players that can beat a player, they're panicking. They're trying to cover runs. They're trying to tackle. You need ball carrying players. Man United, I don't know. They've been allergic to some of them over the years. I've been so surprised with what Man United have bought over that last 10 years. Yeah, you know. So obviously Cunha is good. That's the kind of player you want. Someone that can carry the ball, but do it at the right times. He's still working on that. So It's a long way to go, guys.
Yeah, Jill says that Mbeumo needs a partner to bounce off, not a 1v1 winger. It looks like we're looking at left wing players in terms of that. Do you think we're going to move to maybe more 4-3-3 in the future? Is that going to be where we're looking at playing? Because that's something that they've mentioned quite a few times. We do seem to be looking at wingers. I think the midfield's obviously the issue. Who do you like? Andy says, "Where's the CDM? Who do you like as the CDM? Do you reckon?"
Do you guys really think we need a CDM? Like, why do we need a? I don't get all this CM, CDM lot.
You said we need to
Never
get too
have,
many.
never will.
G-Wolf, you're advocate. You're saying get too many in.
Exactly.
So you're agreeing.
But I don't get all this CDM, CM. At the end of the day, they've all got to come back and help defend. But why do you need a Pacific player to do that role? You know what I mean?
I think United just need to make sure they get some world-class players into their squad, and if too many's available, it's worth going for him.
Exactly.
I think it's just
like he's a world-class player, so.
Well, what's the price for Tchouaméni?
70 million.
I think about 70 million has been quoted.
Okay, it's not too bad. I mean, obviously we know how extortionate the market is. I don't think that's too bad for considering his age as well and potential. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to go anyway. It's been good to catch up with you guys. Yeah, I'll probably call in again, and yeah, man, you guys are doing well to keep going, man. So keep doing your stuff on YouTube, man, and big up the chat. Obviously, hopefully they're hitting the like.
We'll do one after the match. So when we beat Forest, we can speak then.
Yeah. Cool. We'll talk then, yeah.
Yeah. Cheers, Eddie.
Take it easy, Eddie. See you later, bro. Good
chat.
Long time seeing you, bro.
Yeah, long time, man. See you again, man.
See ya.
Cheers, Eddie. It's like yesterday we had Renee, and it's the first time I've spoken to her for about 2.5, 3 years.
Oh wow.
So we'll do like 5-minute quick QA for people if you've got any final questions. Everybody's had loads of different views, which has been almost like too much to talk about. I think to be honest, like too many Ederson and Belieber all divide opinion. I'm yet to find a transfer that doesn't. And so if we play 4-3-3, then too many gets rid of the double pivot need, says like Solly. I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's the future. Man United are gearing towards playing 4-3-3 at some point, and then we're going to have too many.
If they do, then get Tchouaméni in.
I think they're thinking like have too many, have a Anderson, and then maybe Kerwin as the 2/8s or something like that, and you could be looking at playing a different way. I don't know. I think the idea is that you're going to have to get some good players in, and then I do agree with like people are going to scrutinise Carrick whatever happens. I don't think you can avoid that really.
But as I said, that's the same with every manager that we've had. People scrutinise every single manager that Man United have had. But because of the media now, it is so... The media sort of highlights it a lot more than what it used to back in the day. Like, you know, back in the day, would they, like, you know, would they now, if Alex Ferguson was, as I said, this is the question before, with Alex Ferguson as our manager now, if he was our manager now, would he still be getting the same criticism? I think he would.
Probably. I'm going to go for a couple of questions before we wrap up. Andy says Ahmed runs down dead ends, no end product. Yeah, Ahmed Jallow needs to. I know Eddie likes Ahmed Jallow, but you've got to have some end product. Like you've got to be looking at. But Ahmed Jallow, I think, is going to have to fight for his place a lot next season if he wants to stay in the team. Say 4-3-3. I think 4-3-3 is likely. Jill says unless you're getting Cherki, Doku, and Cunha, nobody's taking on two defenders constantly and beating them. And says Mbeumo and Omar need help. Both have suffered. Is saying, yeah, it's not been the best season for like having a couple of different coaches and a lot of different things. Yari is saying that he's never coming. What was his statement, Yari? But you did say something earlier on. But Yari's saying too many's off the menu. It seems, G-Wolf, so we can forget about him.
Okay.
The shortlist actually got very, very slightly shorter.
I see it when I believe it. I'm still hoping that Chouameni will come to United.
Okay, but I think it's gone.
What did I say to you? What did I say about last summer? Smoke and mirrors. Remember that?
Yeah. Any final comments that people have got? Any final things you want to say, G-Wolf? Thanks for being the co-host tonight on
You're welcome, bro.
show.
Thanks for letting me be a part of it. It's been great comments from callers.
I think you might be special guest on. Maybe Jules needs like a name for his Monday show. I'm not sure what we can call it, but spinning rumors. Yeah, Jules, you need a name for your Monday show. It's not like St. Greavesby, but you need to have a catchy name, I think. Yeah, you're back tomorrow, G-Wolf.
Yeah, I'm back tomorrow.
Jules is like going to be spending like 20 hours picking for like some really difficult questions on Monday Madness. Monday Madness. Well, G-Wolf, you're in the right place, I think.
Monday Madness. I'll be in my element in the Monday Madness.
You got like nearly a day to work on your hot takes, I think.
I don't need a day. they just come naturally.
Yeah, Sunday transfer windows. Exactly. What makes you believe? Mickey says, "What makes you believe Ineos are going to back Carrick?" I think it's hope more than anything. If they don't back Carrick, then I read something recently that says that I think the Glazers are getting a bit frustrated they can't make more money out of Man United. So I get the feeling that the Ineos need to make to kind of stop the club being sold. Then they probably have to get some success. This is a very bizarre question. If I was chatting with you, I mean, all I can say is I don't know. As long as I could try and hold out. I do get hungry though. I'll say that. But I've never gone without food long enough to consider eating a person. So
you know what? You're gonna have a feast if you come and eat me, mate. I tell you, you'll be feasting for months.
So says name for Jules United in the red, leading Glazers out. Who doesn't want a CDM? I said we should get one, Andy. People have different views. But,
I didn't say that we don't need a CDM.
This is what he said. Too many said he wants to bring Real Madrid back to former glory. That means he is 100% set on staying at Real Madrid. So you can forget about him, G-Wolf. But forget about him.
Do you know what? He's saying that because don't forget he's a Real Madrid player.
G-Wolf's thinking like you're thinking he's like it's the same as kissing the badge, isn't it? While you sign the contract to another club, you go, yeah, there's no way I'd leave the Yali. G-Wolf just won't believe you until too many puts pen to paper and Fabricio says, here we go, 10 more years at Madrid. G-Wolf will not believe you as well.
Exactly, because of I've seen loads of players kiss the badge before, and then they've gone and signed for another team, and it's like, well, hold on a minute.
I thought I was making you too angry, Andy. We can't mention the V word on the stream. Not with Jeff. Jeff's gone though, hasn't he? But Jeff was like so angry with the refereeing yesterday because of the guy that's refereeing it wasn't on VAR in a previous match, and Jeff was really angry with like how they're organising who's taking charge of certain games. Yeah, it is pretty frustrating, isn't it, regarding that one. Big up to you, Ian, as well. Good to see you, and good calling earlier. So we definitely need a CDM as one of these three midfielders we need desperately.
Sorry. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, maybe it's Mourinho. Mourinho might be there as well. Yeah, there's some funny comments tonight. No, some really good calls though. So thanks to everybody that's been taking part. And if you
That
enjoyed
has.
the stream, we'll try and do more streams like this, and maybe there'll be like different guest hosts on different streams as well to get a bit of variety as well. Do I think anything will improve next season with the refereeing? I'm not sure. I mean, Jeff was writing angry letters to send to people regarding like Jeff is a professional referee. He was like so angry about things yesterday. Do you remember the call in? Do you see that one, G Wolf? He was so angry about the refereeing, the way that refs are allocated and some of the decisions that were happening. So he was writing a couple of letters to different people. I can't remember who it was now.
Oh, blooming hell.
I don't know if it does improve. I don't know.
Unless they get that other chip in where, like, you know, they can make the offside. Like, if someone's offside, isn't it? What's that new thingy that they're trying to bring out at the moment? Not for the offsides. There's a new thingy that they're trying to bring out, isn't they, to make it a lot quicker.
Didn't they do that already, like an automated one?
Have they done that already? I don't know. I thought they were talking about it.
I think they already do that. I think they already have AI offside. They may as well bring in like AI just to do the whole thing and get rid of referees. Like, would it make it worse? I don't know. It's kind of annoying that fans go to the match, they celebrate a goal, then they have to stop, and then effectively VAR decides who wins the Premier League.
Wait for
and they
about
decide who
5
gets
or 10
relegated.
minutes until the decision gets done.
I know West Ham could be getting done for that one. So AI can't be corrupted.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know.
But yeah, I'd definitely take Chouameni. 70 million, that's a steal if we can get him.
Lucky's saying doesn't want any Mavericks in his team.
Does anybody want any Mavericks in their team? Like, you know,
so.
if we bring back Rashford, you're definitely going to get a Maverick there.
If anyone's got any final points before we wrap up, just thanks everybody that's been supporting this stream. I think it was a good call. Nice to speak to Eddy after a few years as well.
Definitely. It's been a long time since I spoke to him.
I'm not sure we need more of what he said, though. I think there's a lot of different views as well.
But the only thing is, you get that with loads of people, though, don't you? You have a diversity of people coming in. Some people will agree, like there was a lot of people agreeing that Ederson shouldn't be coming to United.
He's not a popular. If it is a signing, it's not really a popular one, it seems. But
No.
I don't know. I'd have to say that. Well, you have to hope the scouts and the plan. Hopefully, they know what they're doing. But it's a difficult one to. Yeah, if that's the first signing, then the next signing is a signing that people go, "Wow, we didn't expect that." Then you could be looking at this one.
Exactly.
Final couple of comments and say, Luther says, "I think Tonali is better than all other midfielders." Bold statement, but I'm not sure. Like Tonali is better than. There's a lot. We've covered a lot of players. I'm not sure he's the best one there, to be honest. Any final thoughts, G Wolf, before we wrap up? So we've got a final thought from Ian. It says, "I hope we finally get some good business done, and when we get the players that everybody seems to want, I hope you remember who wanted what and what was said. Considering how many midfielders there are, it would be very difficult to if we rule out too many, maybe we can have a different decision." But G Wolf, like final thoughts?
I haven't got any. Literally.
There you go.
Just
thanks for watching.
Hope everyone has a good night and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. People in the US, you got a bit more of your time, and people in the UK, it's probably almost like time to call it a night. But cheers everybody in the chat. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with actually. I don't think I could do a morning stream tomorrow because of I got someone's like fitting a door. It's really exciting stuff, but not really. But I don't think I could do a morning stream. But I will be back in the afternoon and evening, hopefully. And saying, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. So big up to you, legends, and we'll see you soon.
See you later, guys.